Dash just gave us the funniest interview of the year. Funniest interview I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. Him and Charlemagne together is pure comedy. Two petty niggas in the same room trying to have a debate or a conversation always gonna go well. Especially if they're both non-violent people. It's just jokes. Stop interrupting me. You're interrupting me. Yo! I never laughed so hard at an interview in my life, bro. By the 5-10 minute mark, I was already in tears. Dame went up there to have what he calls a verbal fair one. For those who don't know, a fair one in New York means you're gonna meet up and you're gonna fight. For him to throw verbal in front of that is just Dame. But it's respectable, you know, he disagreed with what they said about him, so he went to check them, but without violence. Salute. But what he forgot is that Charlemagne is not a sensible person, especially on the air. He's gonna joke, poke at you, pause. He's gonna do everything to trigger you, especially if you got something crazy to say about him. So Charlemagne and them criticizing what Dame's been in the news for recently. They say he's filed for bankruptcy. He didn't pay his child support. They say that his daughter's house got foreclosed on her apartment. A whole bunch of other shit that just makes him look bad. And while I agree with Dame, one man shouldn't be counting another man's pocket. That shit has always been weird to me, even before Dame said it. We don't do that where we from, which is Harlem. But the funny thing is, everybody does that all the time, even in Harlem. I've always told niggas, Dame is not broke. You're broke, my broke, and Dame's broke. 3 different things. Now, if you live life to people please, to compare, and to live like everybody else, then yeah, maybe your broke is, you know what I'm saying, more comparable to each other. But again, you're broke, my broke, and Dame's broke. 3 different things. We live completely different lives, and standards should not be the same for everybody, especially if you're trying to do your own thing. I always told people Dame just doesn't have it the way he showed us he had it before. You know, he was arrogant, cocky during the Rockefeller days. He doing his dice dance, you know what I'm saying? Popping champagne in every video. Talking shit about all the money he got, how he never changed it. He always changed his clothes every day. Dame don't do that no more. He's like 50 years old. He's into investing, and he's been said that he wanted out the hip-hop game after what happened with the Rockefeller shit. He's been very emotional about that situation, which anybody would be. So he started doing art. He started doing rock music. He has fucking brands of all sorts of things. The nigga sells sunglasses. He sells a pause button. Like, I don't think there's much stuff that Dame hasn't tried to sell. He's a serial entrepreneur. And that's what he's been doing since Rockefeller ended. And I think he's learned to become a better businessman since after the Rockefeller thing. Because during Rockefeller, he had a boss. So even though he was making his own moves on the side, most of his money came from the business of Rockefeller, which was run by him, Big, and Jay, but was an umbrella to Def Jam and Universal. Correct me if I'm wrong. At that time, he didn't have the freedom that he so openly talks about having now. He wasn't spending his own money, which is why you saw him the way he was before. When he learned how the shit worked and started putting up his own money and having to spend his own money, he learned what real money was. And every businessman has their ups and downs. If you've watched a few of them, even Trump filed for bankruptcy 6 times. I'm not the greatest with finances. I don't claim to know everything there is about finances, but I'm learning. I'm very open to new ideas and how to make the shit work for myself. So I study people who are good in finance and good businessmen. One of them is Donald Trump, who filed 6 times for bankruptcy. I learned that there's not just one type of bankruptcy. And that is the type of shit that they don't tell you. So you can just write somebody off when they file for bankruptcy. He's broke, he don't got no money, But there's different types of bankruptcy. When you have multiple businesses, you're not just an individual filing for bankruptcy. You file bankruptcy for a business to protect yourself. The business takes the hit. You are good. He talks about his family office a lot. That is separate from all his problems. See how that works? So when a nigga like Dame has like 60 businesses and files for bankruptcy for one, it never crossed your mind, well, how come his other businesses don't file for bankruptcy? Duh, stupid, that's the game. But y'all be so emotional and ignorant to this shit that y'all get mad when a nigga is not paying his taxes, not knowing that's the game, stupid. When you get to the top, you get a lot of tax breaks. Fuck getting to the top. When you connect yourself with the right tax people, you get a lot of tax breaks. When you're going to H&R Block to do your taxes, you think they give a fuck about giving you tax breaks? They advertise that shit because it look good, but that shit don't benefit them. They don't care about you. When you have a personal tax attorney or tax person that you go to one-on-one that don't have a million clients, you get a special type of attention. And that person is going to tell you the loopholes. And that's what happens when you are a Dame Dash and you are a serial entrepreneur with multiple businesses. He learned how to do all of that because he learned how finances work. So Dame can't really be broke the way y'all think he is. Is he where he wants to be? Probably not. But he's far from broke. And y'all gotta stop. That's why he went to the Breakfast Club. To tell y'all how he's not. And he broke everything down perfectly. And now this is not a defend Dame Dash thing. This interview actually shows you a big reason why a lot of people stay away from him, though. He's not easy to deal with. And especially nowadays, people don't put up with nothing. If you are a bit of difficult, if you challenge anything somebody says, they running for the hills. So while Dame may be blackballed because he was a successful black man who started a business that rivaled the top businesses in the culture, he's also blackballed because he's not easy to work with. There's just far too much evidence of that being the case. Does he know his shit? Absolutely. It's fucking Dame. But when you're not easy to work with, word's gonna get around. And aside from you being blackballed for being a successful black man who started your own shit with other successful black men, you are doubling down on their opinions when you act this way in public. A lot of people not gonna want to deal with somebody like that. And then he gets the revolting situation popping, and he's using it to fight a little battle publicly. Before the shit is really even done, the top guy at Revolt comes out and says, hey, slow down, Dame. That's not what we talked about. You see what I'm saying? So, cautionary tale as well. He's a great businessman. He takes care of his family. He lives good. But do not go into boardrooms acting like Dame does in public and think that shit is gonna do something for you. If I don't know shit, I know that much. But thank you for the interview, Dame. Hilarious. I wish you and your family well. Love watching you. You drop a lot of gems. You're hilarious, entertaining. But yeah, that's that.